Imagine this scenario. You are at work, right?
Okay, yeah.
And you are walking into the break room to get a coffee,
Yeah.
and you meet a new colleague for the very first time.
Exciting!
Yeah. So you smile, you put out your hand, and you say, "How do you do? I am fine, thank you. And you?"
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Right. Now, the grammar in that sentence is, well, it's 100% correct. You probably learned it in your very first English class.
You absolutely did, yeah.
But here is the real problem. It sounds exactly like a textbook. I mean, it doesn't sound like a real person at all.
Exactly. I mean, it's technically correct, but it's just, it's not natural.
And that actually brings us to the exact central question for our deep dive today, which is, why can correct English still sound strange in real conversation?
It's a great question.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we've got a stack of great sources, including a really fantastic guide on casual modern English, and, well, we're looking at the hidden rules of everyday conversation.
Yeah, and our goal today isn't to learn, hundreds of new grammar rules. We really don't need to do that.
No, definitely not.
Because you probably know the grammar already. Instead, we want to notice the small choices that native speakers make. So we are going to look closely at tone, the relationship between the speakers, and the specific situation.
Right, the situation is so important. And let's set the record straight right away, too. If you use correct but unnatural English, it does not mean your English is bad.
Not at all. No.
You've conquered the grammar. Now you're just, ready for
Yeah.
the next step, which is making it fit the real world.
That's right. We are moving from the classroom to the real world today.
So let's start right where every conversation begins, which is the greeting. We can call this the greeting trap.
The greeting trap. I like that.
Because my opening example saying, "How do you do?"
Mm-hmm.
is something I hear a lot from learners. And it's a real traditional English expression.
It is, yeah.
But if someone says that to me in the office kitchen, it feels a bit like they just, I don't know, stepped out of a time machine.
That is a perfect way to describe it. It's
Yeah.
completely correct, but it's highly formal.
Right.
It sounds very old-fashioned in most modern situations. Like, native speakers just don't use it to grab a coffee with a coworker.
So we need to update that phrasing.
Yeah.
Instead of, "How do you do?" Nah. It's much more common to say, "Nice to meet you." I'll say that slowly. "Nice to meet you."
Yeah, that's perfect.
Or even just, "Good to meet you." Or simply, "Hi, I'm Alex."
And if we compare those, nice to meet you really is the modern everyday default. I mean, it's what the vast majority of people say in almost any normal situation.
I can see "how do you do" working if I'm, well, meeting royalty, maybe.
Yeah, maybe the king.
Right. Or if I'm acting in a historical drama on television. But definitely not at a Tuesday morning meeting.
No, definitely not.
Now, what about the second part of that trap? You bump into a friend and have, "Hey, how are you?" And you reply, "I'm fine, thank you." And you.
Ah, yes.
Again, flawless grammar, but it feels like I'm talking to a robot.
It sounds rehearsed, it sounds automatic, and most importantly, it's just too formal for a relaxed setting with a friend.
It really is.
The psychology here is pretty interesting, actually. When a native speaker asks, "How are you?" it's usually just a social handshake.
Right.
They aren't actually asking for a medical report or, a deep emotional update about your life.
Right. It's just a friendly sound we make to acknowledge each other, so we can keep the answer very short. I usually just say, "I'm good. How about you?"
Yeah, that's very natural.
Or "Pretty good. You?" Or even just, "Not bad. Let me repeat those for you. I'm good. How about you?" And "Pretty good. You?"
Notice how short those natural alternatives are. Because the question is casual, the answer should be casual too.
Makes sense.
You only really hear "I'm fine, thank you" in formal language lessons, careful speech, or maybe when you're speaking to someone very important and you want to create a respectful, professional distance.
I've actually got an analogy for this. Using these textbook greetings at a casual coffee shop is like, well, it's like wearing a tuxedo to go buy groceries.
A tuxedo in the grocery store.
Yeah, it's a perfectly good outfit. A tuxedo is very nice, but it fits the wrong situation completely.
That's a great image. The situation matters just as much as the grammar. You want your language to match your environment.
Exactly. So once we've broken the ice and greeted someone, the conversation usually moves forward. Eventually, we need something from the other person.
We always do.
Maybe we're at a cafe, ordering a drink, or asking a coworker to repeat a number. Moving from greetings to requests shows how our relationship with the listener actually changes the words we use.
And this is where things get really fascinating. When we ask for things, we enter what we can call the politeness paradox.
Okay, let's test this paradox out. Imagine I'm at a cafe. The server comes up to my table and I say, I want a coffee.
Okay.
Simple, clear grammar. But I know if I said that, the server might look at me a bit strangely. Why is that unusual?
Well, it's too direct for a stranger or a service worker. The phrase, I want, focuses entirely on the speaker's desire.
Ah,
It's all about you. It doesn't treat the server with polite respect because, it sounds like a demand, not a request.
so it's about shifting the focus. Instead of declaring my desires, I should be asking for their help. I'd say, I'd like a coffee, please. Let's hear that again. I'd like a coffee, please.
That's much better.
Or better yet, could I get a coffee, please?
Exactly. When we compare these, we see a big shift from desire language, like I want, to request language, like could I get?
Right.
In service situations or anytime you're dealing with strangers, request language is the cultural standard in English.
I suppose I want is fine if I'm on the couch with my best friend and I say, I want pizza tonight.
Yeah, that's fine.
Or a child pointing at a toy and saying, I want the blue one,
Yeah.
but not for the barista.
Exactly.
Now, what happens when we don't hear someone, let's say a colleague mumbles something, and I just respond with, what?
Oh boy. Well, what is a completely real common word,
Yeah.
but it's so short that your tone of voice carries all the weight.
That makes sense.
If you're tired and your voice is flat, saying what sound sharp. It can easily sound impatient or even rude to the other person.
It's like a verbal stop sign. It's jarring. So natural alternatives give the conversation a bit of a cushion. I'd say, sorry, or pardon, or a full phrase like, could you say that again?
Yeah, those are great.
Let me repeat that long one. Could you say that again?
Comparing a single word like what to a phrase like could you say that again shows how length actually softens the interaction.
Really? Just making it longer helps.
Yeah, a longer phrase gives the listener's brain more time to process the request, making it feel much safer and more polite.
I guess between good friends, what is totally fine because they know you aren't angry.
Sure.
But at work, take the safer route.
Speaking of safer routes, let's look at another way people ask for things to be repeated.
Okay.
Let's say someone gives me a long phone number and I say, please repeat. It has the magic word. It has please. Why does this still feel wrong?
Because it sounds like a classroom instruction or a command on an exam paper.
Adding please to a direct command doesn't actually turn it into a request. It's still a command.
Okay, wait, I need to push back here. Doesn't the word please fix everything?
Yeah.
If I'm smiling and I politely say please repeat, why am I still sounding a bit bossy?
I get why you'd think that. It comes down to the psychology of communication. In English culture, a natural conversation often turns an instruction into a question.
A question.
Yeah, a question is much softer because it gives the listener the illusion of choice. You're asking if they have the ability to repeat it rather than commanding them to do it. It respects their freedom.
Oh, that makes total sense. I'm not giving them an order. I'm inviting them to help me. So instead of a command, we ask a question. Could you repeat that? Let's say that again. Could you repeat that?
Much better.
Or, sorry, can you say that one more time?
Yeah. You're asking, not commanding. You only really hear please repeat in a language class when the teacher explicitly says repeat after me.
Right. So even if we're using all these polite questions, sometimes communication just breaks down. We've all been there.
Oh, yeah. Many times.
Someone explains something, and we're totally lost. Or worse, they say something we know is factually wrong. Handling this smoothly is a huge skill.
It is a critical skill. Navigating confusion and disagreement is where natural phrasing really protects your relationships at work and in daily life.
Let's start with confusion. A colleague explains a big change to a project timeline.
I'm completely lost. I look at them and say, I don't understand. It's honest. It's grammatically perfect. It's a very useful phrase for beginners. But you're telling me it's not the best choice here?
The issue is that it sounds very final. When you just say, I don't understand, and stop talking, it feels like a brick wall.
A brick wall. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds as if the whole conversation has failed. The other person doesn't know what to do next.
Because they don't know if I miss one single word or if I miss the entire concept. I need to guide them.
So better phrases would be things like, I'm not sure I follow. Or, what do you mean by that? Or specifically, could you explain that last part? Let's practice those. I'm not sure I follow. And what do you mean by that?
By using those alternatives, you're telling the other person exactly what kind of help you need. You're keeping the conversation moving forward instead of shutting it down.
I guess I don't understand is only really useful if someone speaks to me in a language I literally don't speak. Like if someone starts speaking Swedish to me, I don't understand, is the perfect response.
Yeah, that would work.
But if we're just confused about a work project, we need to be specific.
Precisely. Now let's take it a step further. What if you aren't just confused, but you actually disagree with what they said?
Okay, here's a common scenario. I'm talking with a coworker about the train schedule for a business trip.
All right.
They confidently tell me the train leaves at 9. I hold the ticket in my hand, and I know the train leaves at 8. So I look at them and say, you are wrong. It's direct, and it's a fact.
Well, it's a fact, but it's an attack.
An attack.
It's far too direct. When you say you are wrong, you're attacking the person and their idea immediately. It forces them to become defensive, which can instantly hurt the relationship.
So how do we soften that? We use phrases like, I'm not sure that's right. I'll say that slowly. I'm not sure that's right. Or, I might be wrong, but I thought it was at 8.
Notice the subtle shift there. Those phrases sound cooperative. You're sharing information almost like you're solving a puzzle together rather than attacking them for making a mistake. It keeps the situation calm.
But let me play devil's advocate here for a second.
Go for it.
If they are wrong, they are wrong. If the train is at 8, why are we pretending I might be wrong? Isn't it better to just be honest and direct? Why hide the truth?
It's important to realize that soft language doesn't mean weak language. You can disagree clearly without making the other person feel attacked.
Okay.
When you say, I'm not sure that's right, they know exactly what you mean. You're still telling them they are wrong,
Right.
but you're wrapping it in a socially acceptable package that keeps the discussion friendly.
You're protecting their feelings. I get it. So is there ever a time when you were wrong is the right thing to say?
Sure, in an emergency, if someone is about to push the wrong button on a dangerous machine, be direct.
Yeah, don't worry about politeness then.
Exactly. Or maybe in a highly formal, competitive debate. Those are situations where absolute clarity is more important than politeness. But in everyday life, cooperative disagreement wins every time.
We've greeted people, asked for favors, disagreed about the train schedule, and now it's time to end the interaction. Endings are crucial because they leave the lasting impression.
They do. How you wrap up a conversation often dictates how that person remembers the entire interaction.
Let's say a guest is coming over to my house for dinner. They message me and ask if they should bring some food. I reply, it is not necessary. Perfect formal grammar. But it feels a bit cold, doesn't it?
It feels cold because it sounds official. It sounds like you're reading a policy from a rule book or an instruction manual. It just lacks human warmth.
So let's inject some warmth. I could say, you don't have to. Let's repeat that. You don't have to.
Nice.
Or, don't worry about it. Or simply, no need.
Those are much friendlier. And a big part of why they work better is the word you. When you say you don't have to, you're connecting directly to the listener as a person. It is not necessary. It's completely impersonal.
I would only use it is not necessary if I was writing an official company email explaining a new tax form.
Exactly.
Definitely not for a dinner party. Okay, one more situation before we test our listeners. I'm finishing up a transaction at a store, saying goodbye to a customer. I say, I wish you a good day.
This is a classic example. It's completely understandable, but it sounds translated word for word from another language. Native English speakers almost never build that sentence in daily life.
Right, we use fixed expressions. We just say, have a good day, or take care, or casually, have a good one. Let's practice those. Have a good day, and have a good one.
Those are fixed expressions. When learners translate word for word from their native language, they often miss the specific fixed phrases that English speakers naturally reach for.
Unless it's a special occasion, or like it's a, I wish you a happy birthday, or I wish you all the best.
Yes, exactly.
But not on a standard Tuesday. It's funny, translating word for word is a bit like using a map of London to drive your car in New York City.
Oh, I love that analogy.
The roads exist, the words exist, you can see the structure. But the routes people actually take are completely different. If you use the wrong map, you're going to get lost.
That's a brilliant way to think about it. Grammar is the structure of the city, but natural phrasing is the local map of how people actually drive.
Well, we've looked at the local map today. Now it's time for you, the listener, to practice driving. Let's do an interactive mini quiz.
Sounds fun.
But instead of reading multiple choice answers like a school test, let's just role play a bit. I'll give you a scenario. You take a moment to think about how you'd respond naturally.
This is the best way to build that muscle memory. Take a second to think before we give the answer.
All right, scenario 1. Imagine I'm the barista at a busy cafe. You step up to the counter and you want a tea. How do you ask me for it naturally? Do you tell me what you want, or do you ask a question? Think about the politeness paradox for a second.
Are you ready? You should ask a question. The most natural approach is, could I get a tea, please? Or, I'd like a tea, please. Remember, we're making a request, not a demand.
Perfect. Scenario 2. We're in a noisy office. I'm your coworker and I mumble something you completely miss. How do you get me to repeat it without sounding like a grumpy boss? Take a guess.
Okay, the answer is to avoid just saying what, or the robotic, please repeat. The best way is to soften it into a question. Say, sorry, could you say that again?
It's amazing how much friendlier that feels.
Yeah.
Okay, last scenario. We're in a meeting. I see the project deadline is Friday. You know for a fact the deadline is Thursday. How do you disagree with me while keeping our working relationship intact? Think about it.
All right, don't attack with you are wrong. Protect the relationship by saying, I'm not sure that's right, or I thought it was Thursday.
Spot on. Now let's do some quick speaking practice. I invite you to actually say these out loud wherever you're listening. In the car, doing the dishes, wherever. I'll give you a rigid textbook sentence, and you transform it into natural English out loud. Ready? First one. I want water. How do we soften that? Say it out loud.
You should say, could I have some water, please?
Let's try another. I don't understand. How do you keep the conversation moving?
Try saying, I'm not sure I follow.
And the classic trap.
Yeah.
How do you do? What's the modern default?
Nice to meet you.
Excellent practice. We've covered a lot of ground today, moving from the textbook straight into the real world. Let's do a final recap of the core principles.
First, remember that correct English is not always natural English. Your tone and the context matter immensely.
They really do.
Second, in English culture, requests almost always sound better as questions. Third, disagreement can be perfectly clear without sounding aggressive. Just use those softeners. And finally, practicing complete natural expressions is much easier and more effective than translating word by word.
To help you lock this in, I've got an everyday challenge for you. Today, notice 3 phrases you usually translate directly in your head. Try to replace one direct demand with a soft request.
Great idea.
Replace one formal phrase with a short, casual phrase. And replace one general statement of confusion with a specific question. Say them out loud. Build that muscle memory.
The final thought I want to leave you with is this. Grammar is just a tool that helps people understand your sentence. But natural phrasing is what helps that sentence fit the moment and connect with the person in front of you.
It's what helps you take off that tuxedo in the grocery store.
Mm.
If you enjoyed this deep dive, please subscribe for more practical English discussions. We'd love to hear from you. Which correct English phrase surprised you the most today? Leave us a comment and let us know.
Keep practicing, trust the local map, and keep listening for those natural phrases.
Until next time, remember to leave the textbook at home and just start talking.